Hey there, gorgeous. I heard you wanted to learn how to do a Beyonce. I got you. What does this mean? Give 'em gold, then run away. Wasn't there a time where Beyonce came out with like an album or something and she just didn't say anything about it? She didn't do any promo, anything like that. She just dropped it and everyone went insane. That is gonna be you from now on. To explain the vibe of this, you just kind of want to think that it's an extrapolation of don't over-explain or complain. It's a level of aloofness that comes from understanding one's own value and your ability to attract anything it is that you desire and that you attract it with ease. So what you want to do is this. No forewarning or promo because you know you're the bomb. If this still isn't making sense to you, here are the practical examples. Stop trying to stick to a schedule to please everyone. Be unpredictable. For example, post something on Instagram and then disappear. Maybe go like 2 weeks without posting anything, 4 weeks the next time, 1 day the next time. Follow my Instagram and you'll see what I'm talking about. You just follow your flow. If it feels authentic to you to have a schedule, then by all means. But I'm just giving you the tips that keeps people on their toes. Personally, I find this helps with keeping me more creative and like in touch with my flow. And I find that I produce better quality this way because I'm not forcing anything. It's very feminine of you. Quite mysterious as well. Next, when you're around men, you gotta learn how to be feminine and flirty. For example, when you're in a more masculine state, the way you sit is going to be a lot more rigid, a lot more bold and strong and angular. But when you're feminine in your body language, it's a lot more hip out to the side, waist to hip ratio, angles that accentuate my innocence, like my chin being down, my big eyes. Learning how to smile and laugh and have a little twinkle in your eye when they say something that's really funny or charming. That'll work. And have you guys seen that video of Marilyn Monroe? That thing where she turns around and she like sort of does something like that. I could never, but learning how to be sensual, how to softly lick your lips. That's a subtle seduction. A little eyebrow raise every now and then. Sometimes just doing an eyebrow raise and not saying any words at all. Letting your eyes do the talking. The Gigi Hadid hair flick. Putting your hair over one shoulder. Showing a little collarbone, a little shoulder, wrists, anything that signals. This is gonna sound a little crazy, but you know where a predator would bite? Learning how to trace your feminine details, whether it's your lip with your tongue, ever so slightly, or it's, my neck is so sore. You're sat down, holding yourself delicately. You treat yourself with care, you see? There's a grace about you. A certain softness that you treat yourself with so that a man will feel more inclined to treat you the same way. And this little tricksy trick with the eyes, you see if you're just having a casual conversation, right? If I'm just having a casual conversation with somebody, oh, okay, versus, okay, versus, okay. You know what I mean? You're not a dude, so it's tricky for me to do, but there's a difference. Let them wonder what you're thinking about. Head tilt. They like it. Another thing, you gotta learn how to see them. So I actually learned this from Shell and Lester, that everybody has a shadow side. There's a side within each of us that is less expressed or less seen, and we want nothing more than for that to be seen in public. And so if you can sort of appeal to his shadow side, like maybe he grew up and he always felt like he wasn't a strong man, you know, like he wasn't a hero. All of a sudden, oh my god, you're such a hero, like, and whatever terminology is best, like most appropriate for your situation, if you can make him feel seen like that, he will love you. Same goes for anyone. It's kind of a form of seduction. If you can see what is typically unseen, people appreciate that. And you don't need to manipulate it, but it's up to you. I'm just the messenger. The next one, kind of ironic. Work on the quality of person that you are. Your ability to listen, be kind and present, be understanding and recognize that everybody is just coming from their own points of views. The way that you view the world and its obstacles, work on that. And of course, guys, learn charisma. The most charismatic people are the people that are able to make others feel as though they are the charismatic ones. Simply put, can you listen and laugh? Can you make people feel understood? Sort of like a yes and. Oh, really? How was that? Oh my goodness, me too. I found it like this. How did you find it? Oh, I've always wanted to try something like this. Can you tell me more? Any advice? Oh, why do you say that? It's just leads, conversation starters. It doesn't mean you're inauthentic because you know how to converse with somebody or you've memorized some things. I struggle with social anxiety for such a long time and I still struggle with it. And sometimes I just come back to basic conversation starters, which is just like a genuine curiosity. If you actually gave a shit, how would you converse with that person? And if you don't give a shit at this point, I can guarantee you within like a minute or two, they'll say something interesting because you pretended to give a shit. And then that leads to something interesting and it also fosters trust with that person. And then you're like, oh my God, how dare I judge them for thinking they were not interesting or that I couldn't relate to them when actually they're a whole damn human being and more often than not, you can find at least one thing in common with somebody. Learn how to flirt, how to be seductive, how to be beautiful. For each of these topics, you can check out my other videos from Vlogmas because I do have stuff covering this. But to sort of encapsulate it, seduction would be sort of the charisma I described, I guess. It would also be how you feel about yourself. Flirtation would be your Venus, Mercury, Mars sign combined. And also just what naturally comes to you. Don't force yourself to be... The analogy I gave was a Blair Waldorf when you're a Serena van der Woodsen or vice versa. How to be beautiful? You want to be your most beautiful self. How to be beautiful is not how can I copy and paste somebody else's beautiful onto me. It is how can I enhance myself and make myself as celebrated and adorned as possible. If it helps, I grew up as, well, one of the only, if the only, was I the only? I was the only brown kid. There was a girl that was mixed race, but she wasn't as dark as me, so I was picked on. Like, if you know, you know. And then puberty was one of my first bullies. And then I glowed up a bit, and then I got, I think it was called a second puberty, which my sister told me about. She was like, yeah, that thing you went through, that was a second puberty. I was like, oh, now I'll find out. Like, I could have done with a hope. Anyway, and I felt ugly again, and last year was when I was like the heaviest I'd ever been. But you're never gonna find real joy in if you keep like diminishing yourself and you keep saying I'm not enough behind everything that you do, whether it's makeup you put on or plastic surgery that you get. There's got to be a level of self-worth and self-value that you can see within yourself. Like, some might look at me and say that my nose is too big. You can say that. I said that a long time ago, for a very long time. But I like it. I like it right now. I think it works with me, and it comes from my ancestors, and I love my ancestors, so it works for me right now. And I think it's kind of cute, and it definitely fit my face. Like, it took a minute, but she got there. So what you do is you show up, be present, have a good time, give others a good time, effectively as well, in doing that, and then you disappear. Poof. No one needs to know about you on your days off because you're working on yourself. You get the vibe? Like, be MIA. Stop putting everything on your story. Like, if it doesn't pay you, I don't need to know about the disagreement that you had with your mum. Are you alive? Great. That's all we need. You know, like, we don't need to know. It's really just about, like, not oversharing. You can't go wrong with, like, reducing. If I'm posting on Instagram every day, like, okay, it might be hot, but it's kind of like, for what? You know what? I literally, the other day, I was on Instagram way too much. Like, in the span of half an hour, I'm talking, like, probably, like, 25 minutes of that half an hour I was on Instagram. And I posted 3 things on my story, and I realized, oh my God, like, people are watching my stories, and they probably think I don't have a life. Not that that's the point, but it's like, when I see other people posting on Instagram a lot, I'm kind of like, do you not do anything with yourself? Like, why are you just scrolling all the time? And I felt ashamed of myself because it's like, I'm not like that. And I was like, I need to get off of this app, like, all due respect. Have a life. Your life is not going to be on your screen. It's not. To build your character, you gotta go through some stuff. You gotta do stuff. You gotta be interesting. Like, if you could literally just do a stick drawing of yourself on an A4 sheet of paper and then write around natural attributes, like positive things, and then on the other side, negative things, natural attributes, and then maybe on the bottom, like curated attributes or things that I've developed over the years that are positive, things that I've developed over the years that are negative. And then you wrote like hobbies and interests and dreams and hopes, right? And you really just sort of like do a scan of yourself and what it is that you do. You might realize the sort of disparity between who you think you are and who you actually are. Sometimes you just gotta take stock a little and be like, am I really as hot as I think I am? If you're continuously posting things on Instagram, it's kind of giving, again, to, I guess, reference Shelley Lester, cold-blooded animal, like, validate me, validate me, validate me. I've been there, where you're just, like, waiting for people to double tap because it gives you a sense of self-worth. Baby, your self-worth is not gonna come from there. It's a bottomless pit. Get off of it. Seriously, if you just come back to yourself, do the gritty hard work, whether it's doing your damn dishes, making your bed, going and doing that thing that's out of your comfort zone, finishing your homework, whatever, you do that, that will fill up your cup. Trust me. You go on Instagram and you keep posting stuff, that's not building a life. That's not building a life at all. It's on the screen. Like, what are you doing? Unless it's paying you, stop. Effectively, no one needs to know every single detail of your life, unless that is like what is most authentic to you, or it serves your purpose in this world. Like I said, probably like career related. I honestly think for very few people it's authentic to be posting everything. Some things you just gotta feel them and deal with them in private and then come talk about it later. Not because you're not worthy, or it's just for your own self as well, like your own privacy. No one needs to see every single little detail unless it's like authentic. Like, for example, on my other YouTube, my Unfiltered, I do post more vulnerable raw moments, but that is because I'm trying to achieve something. It's relevant to my objective, which is to work on my diet and my body goals, and for that I find it purposeful to be that level of vulnerable. However, on my Instagram, I'm not really talking about that, so there's no point for me to be on there all the time scrolling and posting things, and I'm not getting any closer to my goals. And I think recognizing that as well, recognizing how your time and energy is valuable, is really important. And I think that will help to put things into perspective and make you realize how it's not actually super helpful to overly use apps. You're distancing yourself from yourself. It's not good. Do all of this, okay? So literally, no forewarning, drop a gorgeous thirst trap, okay? Trust, be feminine and flirty, body language and all. See their shadow side, work on the quality of person you are, and basically don't overshare. And then literally just ghost. Like, poof. Like, not rude, like you can get back to people, but like, be busy. You don't need to be everywhere. I think if there's anything you're going to take away from this, it's work on yourself, heal yourself, enjoy your own company, and therefore as a result be busy, like just be doing stuff. Be a fucking slay, like practice being a slay. And you want to, basically this is about walking the walk. If you're constantly on the gram and you're constantly everywhere, it's almost just like giving like, please validate me, validate me, validate me, validate me. It's not giving self-confidence. You want to like give them gold and then go ghost. You need to be gold first. You need to be quality first. You need to recognize the value that you have and hold within you and the power that your presence has. Stop trying to be everywhere. Stop trying to be like, look at me, look at me. Okay, yeah, but this Instagram picture and that Instagram picture. Okay, should I show a bit more skin because that's going to get me more likes? Like, no. You don't need their likes. You need you to like you. Stop. I touched on this in a recent video about sensuality versus sexuality. Like, go ahead, fine, show more skin. Like, you're gonna be sexual, people are gonna look, heads are gonna turn, but it's your sensuality that gets people to stay looking. Like, there's no point in you posting all of these thirst traps and being everywhere and not even being a good person, just sort of like taking care of the surface stuff, and you wonder why you're not attracting. Like, you gotta really dig deep, work on your inner confidence, work on your charisma, work on how you converse with people, your ability to spend time with yourself. And that's how you will become gold. And then you can give gold. I know that video was a little bit all over the place, but this is genuinely like how to kind of just be seductive overall and always leave people wanting more. Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm a bit tired. I know it's a bit all over the place. But I hope that helps. Stay cute. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.